Click on the right button. Oh, interesting. There's some new software there. They've got some new versions in it. Great. So I hope you can all see my screen. I'm going to look at some hands involving bidding hands where you've got two suits, and perhaps more importantly, playing hands with two suits. So playing and bidding and playing two suited hands. And let's start off with this one where you're south here and you open a spade. You've got two 5-card suits, you bid a spade. West doubles and north your partner passes. East bids two clubs and it comes back to you. And although your partner has passed, you've got good distribution here, two 5-card suits. So you bid two hearts. That then goes three clubs. North again passes, East passes, and then you come back and you could let them play in three clubs. But again, with quite good distribution, let's suppose you decide to bid three hearts, and this time your partner puts you back into three spades. And of course, you should pass that really. Your partner's not got much. He's just showing a preference for spades over hearts. And bidding like that, you're sort of strongly suggesting that you have, as well as five spades, you probably have five hearts as well by bidding two suits there. Anyway, the opponents start off by leading a club, and we stop to make a plan. We can see my partner is indeed very weak, but they do have three spades for me. So what you need to do on these hands where you're playing in suit contracts is try to work out your possible losers. And let's see, we hope we won't lose any trumps, we won't lose any spades. Let's come back to hearts. In diamonds, we've got two losers, and in clubs, we've got one loser. So we hope to lose two diamonds and one club. And the goal here on this hand is to try not to lose any heart tricks. And obviously, we can avoid some heart tricks by ruffing. And what you should do in this kind of situation is try to think what you're planning to ruff with and how many times you're going to ruff. So you should cater for at least the most common distribution in hearts. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hearts in your own hand and two in dummy. So the opponents have got 6 hearts between them. And those are most likely to be divided 4-2 or less likely 3-3. But if they are divided 4-2, this is a good time for you to think about how many times you will need to ruff the hearts to avoid losing any tricks there. So let's suppose they win that first club and they play another club, which you ruff. My question for you now is, if the missing hearts now divide 4-2, 4 in one hand and 2 in the other, how many times will you plan to ruff the hearts to avoid any heart losers? So I'm going to launch that first poll. And how many heart ruffs should you be planning to make? Okay, let's have a look at the results. And nearly everyone has gone for 2, with 3 people saying 3. And let's try and work it out. We've got, if the missing hearts divide 4-2, then we only need to ruff twice, because if we play the ace king and then are able to ruff 2 hearts, our last heart should be good and doesn't need to be ruffed. And the reason for thinking of planning to ruff twice is that it will hopefully lead us to realize that what we need to ruff with is that we need to ruff high. To cater to a 4-2 break, we need to ruff both hearts high. Unfortunately, we've got the jack and the 10 in dummy, and those are the cards we're hoping to ruff with. So what we're going to do here is start not drawing trumps, but cashing the ace and king of hearts, then play a low heart, and with the thought in the back of our mind that we want to ruff twice and that someone might have only two hearts, we're going to ruff high. And indeed does discard, so if we'd ruffed with a seven, we might have suffered an overruff. So now what? Well, we still want to ruff one more heart, and we might come back with a club ruff, not doing that to gain any extra tricks, just to get back to my hand so that I can lead another heart, which I'm again going to ruff high so it can't get over ruffed. Now all I need to do is draw trumps, and as long as they divide 3-2, so let me just bring up the last hands. As long as they divide, we can draw all the remaining trumps, and at the end, we can cash our 8 of hearts, because remember that was now established, and our only losers now are 2 diamonds. So played that way, we should manage 10 tricks, whereas I hope you can see that if you tried to ruff the third round of hearts, say with the 7 of spades, then you would risk an overruff there. So those are sort of key things into thinking about how to play these hands. Here's another hand where you've got 2 suits, and I'm going to start with a very simple question for you, which is what do you think Sal should open the bidding with this one? And the vast majority have gone for a spade, but 3 people voted for a heart and 1 person said 1 no trump. I must say I wasn't expecting anyone to go for 1 no trump there, because although you have 12 to 14 points, your hand is not at all balanced. And with 2 5-card suits, you should be bidding a spade here. You bid a spade so that then if your partner doesn't support you, you hope to be able to introduce your second suit, 2 hearts. Whereas if you were to bid 1 heart and then your partner bid something else, you'd then have to bid 2 spades if you wanted to bid your second suit. And you'd be higher in the auction if you did bid 2 spades. So yes, even though the quality of the suit is a little better in hearts, you should definitely open a spade here. Anyway, you do bid a spade. Your partner bids 2 diamonds, and now you bid 2 hearts as planned. And by bidding that way, you're showing at least 5 spades and at least 4 hearts, and your partner bids 4 spades. So the opponents lead a club, and we stop to make a plan here. And again, we've got a similar situation in hearts here. If we look at our possible losers, we don't expect to lose any spades. Hearts will come back to, and we don't have any diamond losers, but we have 2 clubs to lose. So we're going to lose 2 clubs. And again, the key here is to avoid any heart losers. So we're going to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hearts in my hand and 2 in dummy. Again, we've got 7. And again, we want to cater to a 4-2 division of hearts. So what we're going to do is they win first trick with the ace. We may as well throw the queen there. It's a useless card and it may stop them cashing another club here, but let's suppose they ignore that and carry on with another club and then play another round of clubs, the 3rd round, and we ruff that one and play our last club from dummy. Now, again, we need to think how we're going to play the hearts, and we want to cater to a 4-2 break. And if they divide 4-2, we won't be able to cash the hearts right off the top, but we can set up the hearts by ruffing once. So very similar to the last time, we're going to start off with the queen of hearts, play another heart, say over to the king, and then we're going to ruff a heart. And because we only need to ruff one heart, we can afford to ruff high, ruff with the ace or the king. East discards, but now the hearts are established. So now all we need to do is draw trumps with the king, the 10, draw that last trump, and I'll just bring up the four hands as I draw the last hearts, taking the ace, and the 8 is good, and we make those heart tricks. Now we're not going to lose any more. We've got the ace of diamonds, and we ruff the last one, and we could make 11 tricks on that one. So again, very similar idea with two long suits there to establish the second suit, establish the heart suit by ruffing. And here we just need to ruff once, and we can cater to a 4-2 heartbreak, which is what we get by ruffing high. Let's try this one. Here we open one spade, North bids 2 clubs. We rebid 2 spades here, and we end up in 4 spades. And they lead the king of hearts. And let's stop to make a plan and think about our losers. So how many potential losers have we got? No spades, I hope, but we have 2 heart losers, and we've got diamonds in our hand, but we could ruff those perhaps. And we don't have any club losers. So you might think about ruffing diamonds in this hand, but anytime you have a long suit, here it's a long club suit in dummy, we can often do much better if we can establish that suit. And with 6 clubs in dummy and 2 in my hand, what we're hoping is that the missing clubs divide 3-2, in which case we should be able to establish a club suit by ruffing once. And that will make more tricks than trying to ruff diamonds. So let's win that first trick. And there are different ways you could order in which you could do this. Let's suppose you start by drawing 2 rounds of trump there, and everyone follows. So you can actually draw the last round of trump, and you still have an entry to the north hand. So you play a club back to the ace, play another club, which of course we ruff, and now the clubs are established. And we've got an entry here, the ace of diamonds, and we can now cash 3 clubs, discarding losers from our hand on those 3 clubs. And played that way, we'll only lose 1 trick there by being able to establish a club suit. So do look out for that anytime this time the long suit is in dummy, and you can, with normal distribution, you'll set up that suit and it will provide a lot of tricks. Let's try this one. And this was one that was actually played a while ago online. And East here opens a diamond. You overcall a heart. North, your partner jumps to 3 hearts. And let's suppose you bid 4 hearts. And the opponents lead a diamond here, the Queen of Diamonds. And I can tell you, when this hand was played, no one made 4 hearts. But let's see if we can make 4 hearts here. What I've got for you for the next question is, how many potential losers do you think you have? So let's look at the suits one at a time. And the poll question is, how many potential losers do you think you have? That's looking at your hand and dummy together, and tell me how many potential losers you think you have here. Have a look at the results. And nearly everyone has gone for 4, with one person saying 5. And yes, I agree with you. We've got a spade to lose. We've got the ace king there, but that's a spade. We're not going to lose any hearts, but we've got 2 diamonds to lose, and we've got a club to lose. So it seems like we've got those 4 inevitable losers. And is there any chance of avoiding one of those tricks, one of those losers? Well, depends how the defense go. Let's suppose they play the win the first trick with the king, play another diamond back, and suppose they play a third diamond. And actually, East is actually hoping that the partner is going to ruff this and maybe make one more trick by ruffing a diamond. But you're in a position that you can ruff here, and you've got very good trumps between you and dummy. So let's suppose you decide to ruff high with a 10, and West discards. And now we just have a chance if we can set up another trick somewhere, and that somewhere is going to be in spades. We have 8 spades between us and dummy, so if we're able to play spades, and if the missing spades divide 3-2, although we have to lose a spade, we will set up at least one more spade trick. So what we're going to do here is let's start by drawing trumps. We'll play the ace, everyone follows, play the king, everyone follows. So that's actually all the trump gone, 8, 9 have gone. So what we're going to do now is play the spades, and we'll play the ace, king, and then of course we have to lose a spade. Okay, but now because they've divided evenly, we've set up the 5 and 4 of spades in dummy. So whatever they play now, if they play a club here, we can win that, cross to dummy, and then we've got the spades are good now, and we're able to discard a club on there. So played that way, you can actually make 10 tricks. It depends on the defense, but if they give you time to set up the spades, you can do so and discard a loser on that. Okay. Any comments or questions on that one? Let's finally look at this one where South has opened a spade. You passed as West. North bid 1 no trump. South rebid 2 hearts, and that was passed out. And I've got the first poll question on this hand, which is actually for you, West, which is what do you think West should lead? This is your hand here. That's the bidding. And the question is, which suit do you think West should lead? Have a look at the results. And the majority here have gone for a diamond, followed by a club, a heart, and one person went for a spade. Well, with this kind of auction, you should kind of try to envisage what will be in the South and the North hands. South has shown 2 suits, and North has a clear preference for hearts over spades. So you should expect that North is quite short in spades, and you should seriously think about leading a trump in this situation. The other thing is that you have 4 spades there, so that adds evidence to the likelihood that North is short in spades. And in fact, the best lead here is a trump. If I click on the GIB button, you'll see that declarer can actually make 3 over tricks here unless you lead a trump. But a lot of people would be very tempted to lead the ace of diamonds there. If you do lead the ace of diamonds, then once you see dummy, then you should definitely switch to a trump, because now you can see the shortage of spades in dummy, and you should be thinking about drawing trumps to stop declarer ruffing spades in dummy. So if you do lead a diamond, I would switch to a trump at trick 2. And let's suppose you play a low heart and your partner plays a queen and declarer wins the first trick with the king. And let's look at this from declarer's point of view now. So as declarer, you've just won, you lost the first diamond, and you've won the second trick with the king of hearts. So you need to, again, think about your possible losers here. and let's see if we can go through it. Let's actually I'll go back here just so it's easier to count. So after they switch to a heart, if we count our possible losers, we can see that in trumps we're probably going to lose one trick, assuming the hearts divide 3-2. We've lost one diamond, that's already gone. And we're not expecting to lose any clubs here. What about the spades? Well, we can clearly try to avoid some of the spade losers by ruffing. And let's suppose we win that first heart and we delay drawing trumps because we're planning to ruff spades. So what we're going to do is start with the ace of spades, win that trick. And I've got the final poll of the evening for you. You've just won the ace of spades. And the last question is, what are you going to play from your hand at trick 4? So try and make a plan for how you're going to play the rest of this hand. And the question is, having won the ace of spades, which card do you think you should lead from the south hand? Let's have a look at the results. And most of you have gone for the 3 of spades, with some going for the 3 of the king of spades or a low club. And let's think about this. Let's actually rewind it just to this point here of the point before I play the spade. So if I think about it at this point, I've got 5 spades in my hand and 1 in dummies. That's 6. So I want to try to cater to at least the 4-3 distribution of the missing 7 spades, right? I've got 6 spades, they've got 7. And if they are divided 4-3, I hope I'll be able to ruff as many as possible. But what I need to do is not cash the ace and the king of spades, just cash the ace. And then I've got 2 trump in dummy with which I'm planning to ruff 2 spades. And doing that will actually establish the spade suit. So that's what I'm going to do on this hand. You can see if I click on the GIB button that I can make 3 over tricks if I lead a low spade, or you can also make it if you lead a club. But although that doesn't necessarily help you, I think it's much better to think in terms of ruffing the spades, ruffing in the shorthand. Whereas you can see if you lead the king of spades, you'll make 1 fewer trick. So lead a low spade, ruff low, actually the 4 and the 6 are all equivalent cards. And if I can do that, I now want to get back to my hand to ruff again. So I could do that with a diamond ruff, not necessarily to gain any extra tricks, but just so that I can ruff the 8 with my last trump. And if I get away with that, now I'm in good shape. I'll just click on this and bring up the 4 hands. Now there's still just 1 trump there's trump outstanding, but I can come back to my hand with a ruff and draw the ace, drawing 2 trump there. And there's now 1 trump outstanding, the jack of hearts, which of course I'm going to leave out. And I'm just going to cash my spades and my club. So I cash my spade, I cash the good 9. They can ruff, but as long as I have a trump left, whatever they play, I can ruff and now cash 2 clubs. So played that way, I can actually make 11 tricks, a bit surprising on so few points, but by ruffing 2 spades, you are able to establish a suit. So don't make the mistake of on this hand of cashing the ace king first, because then I hope you can see that when if you then try to ruff 2 spades, they'll get over ruffed. One of those will get over ruffed. Anyway, that was it for this